We're going to follow up with another recruiting question coming out of Mr. HD because he follows up with Isaiah Walker wanting Jalen Rivers as well.
Jalen Rivers from Oakleaf High School outside of Jacksonville. That's where Shaq Quarterman once starred in high school. Yeah, he's a big kid. He's 6'6", 331. He's a four-star recruit. He was for a very long time. He was a package deal, openly a package deal with his good friend and godbrother. That's Chance Williams, who's a four-star defensive end out of obviously the same high school. The fact of them being a package deal has seemed to disintegrate recently. All the intel that's out there is that Miami's trending up for Rivers, but nothing is done yet. So, I mean, if you add an Isaiah Walker Jr., who's like 6'4", 285 or 300 pounds, with Jalen Rivers, who's 6'6", 331, and that's verified at the opening measurements this year, this spring. That's what he measured and weighed in at. That's going a real long way towards helping address the offensive tackle position. But yeah, both of those guys are blue chip guys. They're four-star guys. They're top, 200-ish recruits in this class, if not even higher. So they have a very high caliber. Obviously, Rivers going up against Williams, who, again, is his teammate and godbrother, who's an awesome defensive end. Iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? So, that's going to make him better. That's again, everybody knows I used to work at Miramar High School. I worked at Miramar High School when Tracy Howard was there. I would see him go in practice every day as hard as possible against his best friend, Malcolm Lewis. 4-star wide receiver, 5-star cornerback, iron sharpening iron. They would stay after practice. They would have coaches. They would have other people throw, routes to them and things like that. And that helped both players get better. So oh my God, I'm sorry. I have all this stuff going on. Sorry. Mute. There we go.
If you need to take care of business.
No, it was a random group chat, but I thought I had muted it. Sorry. Anyways, but Rivers and Williams are so good that them working against each other are going to make each better. And we're probably not going to get Chance Williams. So that's fine. It's not fine. There's other guys at defensive end, but if we're not going to get him, then you're going to get Rivers, hopefully, who's also going to be better by working against the guy who's going to go to, probably Florida or Florida State, like a top-end Power 5 program. So, yes, Isaiah Walker Jr. and Jalen Rivers are both at the top of the board for offensive tackle. And Miami is doing everything they can to be in a good position. And I'm, reading and hearing that they're in a good position. However, there's still a long time. There's still a long ways to go. And other guys on the board as well, even other 4-star guys who are not necessarily from Florida. There's other guys from around because obviously Miami's trying to find the answers wherever they can find them. So if not necessarily these guys, and this is why years ago, actually last year, before I wrote the recruiting rules or while I was writing that, I also asked the collective that I spoke to of recruiting analysts to weigh in about must-get recruits. And this is why I don't believe there's a such thing as a must-get recruit, because if I don't get a Jalen Rivers, but I get I forget his first name, but Carmody, who's a 4-star offensive tackle from Pennsylvania, who's 6'6", 285, played tight end and on the basketball team and has an athletic build to build out, and he's a 4-star guy. There are other options to replace them, potentially. Obviously, Miami needs to close on them in a way that Miami is not in recent years. But yes, starting right now on May the 29th, well, not starting on May the 29th, but as I answer this today, both Rivers and Walker are at the top of the board. Hopefully they come. I would like that both. But if they don't, there are other options out there. So I know that you're asking about specific names, and I answered about those specific names, but there's also other names out there and guys who could pop up later on through cycles. And if you don't think the guys pop up later on through cycles, well, maybe you haven't been following recruiting recently. I'm going to name you a couple guys on the roster who popped up in the later part of recruiting cycles. Zion Nelson. Yeah, he was a 2-star, ended up, whatever. He's a guy. Jeff Thomas. All-American. He's a guy who later. Jaron Williams, after that cycle had started. You know what I mean? Tate Martell, transfer, but fine. Even if you want to go through, there are guys. Trajan Bandy, cornerback 1. He's a guy who Miami knew and was like, no, because Al Golden said he was too small, whatever. And then we're like, well, Mark Rick was like, yo, come on through. But there's even guys who are starting level players on this team who were not necessarily the number 1 recruit or when the cycle started a year and a half in advance, but things can still develop. So yes, Walker and Rivers, I want them. But if not them, there's guys on the board and there's other guys who might not necessarily be on the board who could work their way on there between, their interest or Miami's or whatever moving forward.
Cam, I know you played baseball. As you were swatting at the moth, I'm wondering whether you could hit the breaking ball.
I could not hit the breaking ball. I was
That was many of us.
no, not at all.
That's many of us.
I was a pitcher mostly, but I was black and fast. And I went to a white private school, so when I got there, they made me play outfield, and I was like, if it's not a fastball or maybe a hanging changeup, no, not going to be good. So I was the courtesy runner for the catcher a lot, and things like that. And eventually, I played right field because I had a decent arm. But no, the curveball that was where the road diverged in the Yellowwood, and I would routinely go back to the bench on that one.